Hi, welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at the McFarlane Collector's Edition Sergeant Rock. Now, it's been a long time since I've reviewed a McFarlane figure. I mean, a very long time. I don't believe a lot has changed in their articulation. They don't have nearly as much articulation or detail as most of the classified figures that I do, or even the Marvel Legends that I may look at, but we're going to take a look at this. I don't think it's going to take all too much time, but I was really excited when I saw this. I remember having these figures when I was a kid. They were one of those like backup figures that were in the G.I. Joe pile because they didn't have a lot of articulation, but they were a very interesting figure. I couldn't tell you anything about it. I just remember the plastic joint sometimes would break, but you could still put the arm in, and it would hold it just by pressure. So anyway, we're going to take a look at this. He doesn't come with any weapons other than a knife, and he has his shovel, and he has his card, so you can see how the packaging is. And on the back, here's this wonderful artwork that he had. So what we are going to do is I will throw on the M16 that came in this munitions pack from McFarlane Toys. I got this a while back. The only figure that's using it is Spawn. If you don't have McFarlane figures, they don't fit. Maybe some of the other 7-inch figures, they will fit, but we'll see how that looks on it. Hopefully it works well, because what is an army guy without a weapon? Unless if he's a ninja. Well, without a gun, unless if he's a ninja. So anyway, let's get into this. But if you like this type of stuff, if you like G.I. Joe, you like military stuff, take a second, hit that like button, hit that bell notification, hit that subscribe button. And I did that out of order, but hey, that's what happens. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so I got the Sergeant out of his plastic prison. I did purchase this on Amazon, so if you are interested, I will drop a link in the description to Amazon, along with Entertainment Earth, where you can get this figure. So quickly, I left it in the box here, is you have the stand that comes with all the McFarlane. If you know anything about my videos, about me and my reviews, I don't like stands, so we're going to try and get away with not using the stand. Hopefully it shouldn't be too much of an issue, because it is vacuum sealed onto it. So quickly, we'll take a look at here. Here's the card in the stand. Now, I do like this, especially if you're not going to be doing them in dynamic poses. G.I. Joe, Marvel Legends, Valiver, stuff like that, in my opinion, is meant to be displayed in battle positions. Unfortunately, McFarlane doesn't give you a lot of leeway with their articulation. So you get this nice card, McFarlane's Collector's Edition. I like the stand, like I mentioned. Now on the back, I was quickly reading, and again, it's been a long time, and he was from World War II. So I said M16, which is what comes with it, but I thought maybe a Tommy gun actually fits better, because that's what was used in World War II for the automatic weapons, if you were lucky enough to have one. So now you didn't have the, I don't believe anyone really had that that ammo can on it, but hey, we'll see how they look. Again, it's your figure, no one's going to take it away from you, but if you want to read it, there it is. You can pause it, read about Franklin John Rock. All right, so before I say anything else, the reason why there's no weapons is, from everything we understand, is there's a mandate put down by DC that no guns on their figures. Makes absolutely no sense. So anyway, here we have a couple little fingers where he's got, I would assume, pointing, along with this one. So the two different types of fingers. Maybe you could use this as a gripping hand, or you have a gripping hand here for one of the weapons, and then they do give you a trigger finger. So even though they're not allowed to do that, they do give you the options. And these weapons here, like I said, will not fit with 6-inch figures, but they fit with McFarlane figures. All right. So there we have the knife. All right. Looks pretty good. It is all one color. Nice little detail in the handle. It has some bend to it, so it's not just Hasbro that's causing a bend. It is other figures, other lines. You got a shovel. Again, it's just all one color. I mentioned it before, just a little bit of paint apps and stuff, that really goes a long way, but McFarlane does everything they can to keep their prices down. Now this is a $30 figure. So, but that looks good there. All right, and then we have his helmet, which looks like he has at least one bullet shot there. Nice detail on it. A lot of texture to it. Just a lot of color like it's been beat up. Then you obviously have your chin straps to hold that on. But the paint looks good. Like there's nothing to really complain about there. All right, now we'll take a look at this figure, and it looks like he's kind of got his ass. I'm gonna say he's been beat up, but he's had his ass whooped around a little bit. All right. But quickly looking at that face sculpt, I mean, eyes look good. I'm assuming that's supposed to be kind of mud. Again, I don't know why it's the same color as his hair, but whatever. Beard looks good. Mustache all looks good there. Eyebrows, I mean, this guy does look angry. Even the ear sculpt looks really good. I don't think I've ever mentioned ear sculpt, but that actually looks really good. And the detail in the hair and the texture go real well. Now, it really does look like this guy might have been dyeing his hair blonde. Either that or else he had his hair dunked in, well, we won't say what. But all that looks good. When you get to his buck here, I love the color scheme. It matches pretty good with his helmet, where it's not camouflaged, but it clearly has some wear and tear to it. This guy has truly been in World War II, or you can say Vietnam or whatever war you want. He does have his dog tags. Now they are not removable, but they are painted on real nice. All right, you can see the chain. Man, McFarlane paint is really good. God, as much as you can criticize his articulation and constantly having Batman, his paint looks really good. I'm pretty impressed with this. Here we have the belt. You got a bunch of little pouches that run across. The belt, I do not believe, is removable. It looks like it can be cut off. I mean, it is. It's got to be removable at some point, because it doesn't look like it's part of his actual vest. The vest is a pliable, kind of like the Street Fighter. So there you have his watch. Nothing to it. Is that hair, or I'm assuming that's supposed to be arm hair. It almost looks like it's mud. Again, the big pin joints that we can see that you can't avoid. He's got his nice military pants. Knee pads would have just it's like a little brown, and it really does pop. It adds a lot to it. You get to your boots, and they're all one color, and you see this toe articulation, which we'll talk about in a minute. Then you have the backpack, which has a nice wear on it. It's all one color, like I think most of the sacks were. It looks like it's maybe taken a few shots or it's been worn, so I love the wear and tear on it. It would be awesome if there was just a buckle or something that was painted a little bit, but I can actually get over it because I've seen some military packs where they pretty much all blend together, but I mentioned it before, it creates depth when there's just a little bit of color. All right. Here is canteen. All right, so let's look at his articulation. And this has been McFarlane's weak spot, in my opinion, for quite some time. Maybe it's changed. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've had a new figure, so he can not really look up. He can kind of look down. He can go side to side. And he can kind of make that side eye there if he wanted to. He has a T-pose, your bicep swivel, double pin joints. I just saw an interview with Shardamus where he brought up pinless joints, and McFarlane acted like, oh, could you send me something? I've never heard of such a thing of pinless joints. All right, so the hands are going to rotate up and down and back and forth. Now, as we saw on the hands here, the joints are actually going to be on the wrist. I think I might like that better. Mezco does that. All right. And these figures are a nice solid figure. There's no real softness to them. You can actually hear and you can see that ratcheting going up. All right, he does turn side to side. He might have an ab crunch. He might not. I'd have to pull this whole thing off. But this thing does hide the diaper. All right, so there's his Jean-Claude Van Damme. I was gonna say it almost scares me, but those joints actually look pretty good. He can kind of kick straight. Not really. Pinned double joints. He has an ankle rocker, which it's hidden really nicely. A lot of times his stuff isn't, but this is hidden pretty nicely. So you get this ankle rocker here, and then you have your toe articulation. Not a big fan of toe articulation. I think it's great in Spider-Man, Daredevil, ninjas, but for the most part, not. I don't think you need military guys with the articulation. It can cause some issues with standing. So let's see if I can get this guy to stand. His feet seem a little bit small. But hey, look, no issues. Get that toe articulation down. What kind of poses can we get him? That's something completely different. So let's take a look at the hands. Hand pops off real easy. Big, big joint. Shouldn't have to really worry about that thing breaking. Here we have the trigger finger. And McFarlane, even though he's not allowed to give guns with the DC figures, if you look at some of these weapons, yeah, they're meant for the Spawn figures, but stuff like this is very Jokerized. All right, so know that if you get those munitions packed, they're not going to fit on a classified figure, but they're definitely going to be something you might need down the road. So let's go with a Tommy gun here. I know the Tommy gun is more for his figures, but I think it actually looks pretty good on him. He does have what looks to be a gripping hand. Well, somewhat of a gripping hand maybe we could use. This is where, in my opinion, he gets some really good detail, but he tends to refuse to get with the times. Now, can I get this? I mean, I don't even know if I can get this thing to cross over. And even these weapons are these weapons are gummy too. Same as Hasbro's, so just understand there's a lot of companies doing this. And these are in the adult collector section too. But we can make that. That's, I don't know. That's kind of too big. Although they always seem to shoot. They always seem to shoot the Tommy gun from underneath like this anyway, right? And there's no port for blast effects, right? So you kind of have it here. I don't even know. And you can't, man. The posing ability is awful with these things, man. This thing is obviously going to be in the way, or else I think we could easily get him into a crunching position, a knee position. He's going to be shooting up, I guess, up to the sky. All right, let me try the M16 in case we want to, again, go with a more modern. You want to say he's from Vietnam. And yes, these guns here are, let's just say, they're very comic-y for McFarlane and how he draws them. So we get the M16. Again, it is bent, but that is how they come. It's almost like they're supposed to be like that. Again, McFarlane has his own style, that's for sure. So let's see how he looks with the helmet, because again, right there, we're seeing him with our helmet on. Hopefully it fits. Maybe it doesn't. There we go. Oh, it actually pops on pretty nicely. So that actually looks pretty good there. We do have a spot here for the knife. So the knife will sheath Can't even say it's sheaths in, because it's not really a sheath, it's just a holder. And then we got a spot for his shovel. So there we go. Not that bad. And again, you can get some different weapons. Man, I feel like I'm not I don't know, dude. These things. Weird hands. Weird hands. Oh, actually. Oh, okay. All right. So you do have to push them. They do go down a little bit further here. So. Oh. Now, if you're new to the channel and you're like, hey, why is this guy taking this much time? I like to show you exactly what you're going to be doing if you get these figures. All right, so they do push down a little bit further. You got to put a little bit of pressure into it. All right, but you got to get him nice, pointing to where he's going, along holding a weapon. I'm going to throw the M16 in. I think it does just look better than the Tommy gun. For how he needs to hold it. All right. But now I'll do a quick size comparison to these figures, because as I mentioned, he's big. So, first thing that we'll do, we'll even take the helmet off, so you kind of get what he is like. So we'll grab a Spawn figure, and obviously Spawn is made by McFarlane. So he sizes really well with Spawn. He still seems to be a little bit chunkier in the legs, but Spawn has more of a tight feel here. We have a NECA Bruce Campbell, Ash. Now they're supposed to be based off 7-inch figures too, and he towers over him. I don't have a problem with Spawn because Spawn is Spawn. Now here is He-Man. Now, this is from the 40th anniversary or 30th anniversary deluxe San Diego Comic-Con from a couple years ago. And even he seems to be a little bit shorter. Obviously much wider. We have an AWOC figure, which even with his mohawk is much shorter. And then I can grab Duke here. And so this is where you see the difference. And this is like kind of comparing a Super 7 to Classified, and people trying to make it work, and it just isn't going to work. So if you were on the fence and you wanted to buy this figure to fit with your G.I. Joes, and you're like, hey, this is going to be awesome, they're not going to fit. It's way too big. The only way that you are making this work in pictures is if you have Classified way in the back and you're doing some sort of forced, perspective to make it work. But anyway, overall, a good figure, a good looking figure. All right, that I will give him. Really good looking figure. Again, what I don't give him is still his lack of articulation. The fact that he made very large figures. He tries to make it seem like it doesn't matter. This is way too low now. This is way too low. But yeah, good looking figure, but just know that he's going to stand either with your McFarlane. Maybe you can put him with your G.I. Joe Super 7 Ultimates if you have them. I only have one and he's packed away. So there you go. That is my review of Sergeant Rock. All right, so there you go. That is my review of McFarlane Sergeant Rock. I didn't forget to mention his backpack does come off, so you probably could use this on maybe one of the bigger scale Joes. Maybe Bazooka. People complain that he doesn't have straps and it drives people nuts. That almost matches. You can probably do some customizing to make it work. Again, this is the munitions pack. What I will do is I will drop a link to the munitions pack. Matter of fact, at the end of this, I'll drop it right up here so you can watch it if you want. Again, wonderfully detailed figure. I think the paint is pretty good. I mean, for 30 bucks, what you get with a lot of figures in that $25 to $30 range isn't always that good. I think they did a great job. Where McFarlane continues to lack has never really been detail. It is articulation. I don't have a problem with pin joints when you're still using older bucks, but as you're moving forward, come on. It's time to move into this generation, the century that we're in. I understand you get G.I. Joe, Marvel, Legends, and stuff like that. You're still going to see pin joints, but they're starting to do away with them. Todd, Uncle Todd, stop acting like, oh, what are these pinless joints that you're talking about? Shartimus, could you please send me over so I can send some over to my R&D department so they can figure out if it would work? You know what they are. Just go to Target, go to Walmart. You'll find figures that have pinless joints. Shartimus doesn't need to send it to you. I don't need to send it to you. No one does. Enough of my rant on that. I am going to get out of here. I think I've given you more than enough time. I think you've given me enough of your time, actually, shall I say. So I'm going to get out of here. If you like this type of stuff, if you like Instagram, you're on there, take a second, head on over there. A Punk with Toys on Instagram. You've made it this long. Please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and then hit that bell notification so you're notified anytime I drop some sort of toy video. I do a lot of G.I. Joe, so if you're into that, well, you'll see a lot of Joe stuff. I'm going to get out of here. Like I said, here is the munitions pack, and down here will be some other military figures that I've reviewed in a playlist. Take care.